This is Mother and Daughter, a short story written by D.H. Lawrence and read for you by Paul Metcalfe.
Mother and Daughter. Virginia Bodwin had a good job. She was head of a department in a certain government office, held a responsible position, and earned, to imitate Balzac and to be precise about it, £750 a year. That's already something. Rachel Bodwin, her mother, had an income of about £600 a year, on which she had lived in the capitals of Europe since the effacement of a never very important husband. Now, after some years of virtual separation and freedom, mother and daughter once more thought of settling down. They had become in the course of time more like a married couple than mother and daughter. They knew one another very well indeed, and each was a little nervous of the other. They had lived together and parted several times. Virginia was now 30, and she didn't look like marrying. For 4 years she had been as good as married to Henry Lubbock, a rather spoilt young man who was musical. Then Henry let her down for 2 reasons. He couldn't stand her mother. Her mother couldn't stand him. And anybody whom Mrs. Bodwin could not stand, she managed to sit on, disastrously. So Henry had writhed horribly, feeling his mother-in-law sitting on him tight, and Virginia, after all, in a helpless sort of family loyalty, sitting alongside her mother. Virginia didn't really want to sit on Henry, but when her mother egged her on, she couldn't help it. For ultimately, her mother had power over her, a strange female power, nothing to do with parental authority. Virginia had long thrown parental authority to the winds, but her mother had another, much subtler form of domination, female and thrilling, so that when Rachel said, "Let's squash him," Virginia had to rush wickedly and gleefully to the sport, and Henry knew quite well when he was being squashed. So that was one of his reasons for going back on Vinnie. He called her Vinnie, to the superlative disgust of Mrs. Bodwin, who always corrected him. "My daughter Virginia." The second reason was, again to be Balzacian, that Virginia hadn't a sou of her own. Henry had a sorry 250. Virginia, at the age of 24, was already earning 450. But she was earning them, whereas Henry managed to earn about £12 per annum by his precious music. He had realized that he would find it hard to earn more, so that marrying, except with a wife who could keep him, was rather out of the question. Vinnie would inherit her mother's money, but then Mrs. Bodwin had the health and muscular equipment of the Sphinx. She would live forever, seeking whom she might devour, and devouring him. Henry lived with Vinnie for 2 years, in the married sense of the words, and Vinnie felt they were married, minus a mere ceremony. But Vinnie had her mother always in the background, always as far back as Paris or Biarritz, but still within letter reach, and she never realized the funny little grin that came on her own elvish face when her mother, even in a letter, spread her skirts and calmly sat on Henry. She never realized that in spirit she promptly and mischievously sat on him too. She could no more have helped it than the tide can help turning to the moon, and she did not dream that he felt it, and was utterly mortified in his masculine vanity. Women very often hypnotize one another, and then hypnotized, they proceed gently to wring the neck of the man they think they are loving with all their hearts. Then they call it utter perversity on his part that he doesn't like having his neck wrung. They think he is repudiating a heartfelt love, for they are hypnotized. Women hypnotize one another, without knowing it. In the end, Henry backed out. He saw himself being simply reduced to nothingness by 2 women, an old witch with muscles like the Sphinx, and a young spellbound witch, lavish, elvish, and weak, who utterly spoilt him, but who ate his marrow. Rachel would write from Paris, "My dear Virginia, as I had a windfall in the way of an investment, I'm sharing it with you. You will find enclosed my cheque for £20. No doubt you will be needing it to buy Henry a suit of clothes, since the spring is apparently come, and the sunlight may be tempted to show him up for what he's worth. I don't want my daughter going round with what is presumably a street corner musician, but please pay the tailor's bill yourself, or you may have to do it over again later." Henry got a suit of clothes, but it was as good as a shirt of Nessa's, eating him away with subtle poison. So
Sample complete. Ready to continue?